Dr. Stavros, what have been the key achievements of the BRICS Business Council in the last year?
So the Council is largely seized with promoting and enhancing trade, investment, commerce and business between the BRICS countries. Of course, this was the first time that we've had an expanded BRICS, expanded beyond the 5 original members. Right. And some of the achievements have been an increased focus on reducing the digital divide. So digitalization was a very big discussion point, as is how do we suitably and appropriately apply artificial intelligence to assist in growing economies, but also at the same time not shedding jobs. That is unfinished business, but certainly something that has been tabled as a priority, and there is ongoing discussions on that.
How far are we in terms of digital and AI? What are we doing in that area?
It's a very complex discussion, and I think the focus has been more, how do we get digital solutions to the most remote parts of our country so that you don't get this massive divide. I mean, there is already a divide. Some call it the digital divide. And unless you start bridging that divide, you are going to continue growing the numbers of people that live in poverty or numbers of people that live on the periphery of the economy. So neither of those are desirable outcomes of this whole AI revolution. The way the BRICS Business Council is set up, it's 5 representatives from each country, and then there are 10 working groups. There is a working group on the digital economy, but there's also another very important working group, which is the Skills Development Working Group. And that is an integrative working group because it cuts across all the other working groups, whether it's manufacturing or infrastructure, financing, whichever it might be. There's one on aviation, for example. So the Skills Development Group serves exactly that purpose, to see where there are skills deficiencies or where perhaps we're not tracking as well as our BRICS peer countries, and to try and bridge that gap. So I think that's a very important working group. And I have noticed in the last 12 months that these working groups are a little more integrated than they used to be perhaps a year ago, which is also a positive development.
South Africa has, for the last couple of years, been looking for new markets in various industries, for various industries in South Africa, but looking for new markets to export to. What has the BRICS Business Council done to help assist in this area?
I think we've done 2 things. Trade between the original 5 BRICS countries. I suppose it's too early to gauge the expanded BRICS. It's only really been in place for a year. So I keep referencing the original 5 countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China. Trade between the BRICS countries has grown by 14%. So there's no doubt that there is a benefit in trade terms. However, South Africa runs a trade deficit with each of those 4 original countries. Now, there's no problem running a trade deficit, of course. What is problematic is if you don't try and even out those trade patterns with your trading partners. We seemingly run a trade deficit with many of those expanded members, except for one, which is the United Arab Emirates, which is, and everyone knows, there's a great focus on the Middle East at the moment and Middle East economies. The UAE is a very important economy for us as South Africa, as is Saudi Arabia, incidentally. And with the UAE, we run a relatively neutral trade balance, meaning that we import about as much as we export to them. So the UAE is a good example of perhaps where we need to get to futuristically.